So in this video today, I want to answer a question that I have had for such a long time. Can a piezo electric guitar replace my piezo acoustic guitar? Can we do drum percussion on the piezo element like we can on an acoustic guitar? And does it sound any good? So that's what we're going to take a look at in today's video. Hey, what's up? Hope you're having a fantastic day and welcome back to another video. Now, today we are going to be comparing the brand new PRS SE Hollowbody 2 Piezo Edition guitar to a standard piezo acoustic guitar. So this is an Electro acoustic guitar, and I want to see how good does the PRS sound compared to a real acoustic guitar, but also can we do the same things we can do on an acoustic guitar, like drum percussion, especially if you're a live looper like myself. This is an essential feature you need from an acoustic guitar. Well, can we do that on the PRS Piezo SE Hollowbody 2 guitar? Now, I have wanted the answer to this question for ages. Ever since I learned about Piezo Pickup electric guitars way back in like 2016, I've always wanted to try one out, and I scoured the internet to find out, can we do drum beats on them, like for live looping? But I literally could not find the answer anywhere. So I'm gonna answer that question on the internet today. Now, the two guitars we are going to be comparing today is the brand new PRS SE Hollowbody 2 Piezo Edition. If you want to see my unboxing and my demo and overview of this guitar, then check out this video over here. And we're going to be comparing this guitar to my Martin LX1E. Now, I've had the Martin LX1E since I was 12 years old. This guitar is about 8 years old. At this point, you can see it's been through quite a lot. It's pretty worn out, and it's about time that this guitar actually got retired because it's just totally ruined. You know, it's ruined down here, the frets are all worn out, and the intonation's a bit off, and the neck's a bit twisted, all because of the wear and tear it has been through. Now, obviously, another major factor of why I kind of need to get rid of this guitar is because I've kind of outgrown it. It's just a titchy, witchy guitar, and obviously I've grown a lot since I was 12 years old, and also my hair has grown a lot since I was 12 years old. And one of the major problems I have, one, I rack up to the venue and I take this little titchy, witchy guitar out the case, and it just looks ridiculous on me. But number two, I rack up with this enormous hair like I'm some crazy shredder, and I just feel like people can't take me seriously because they expect me to take out like this flying V, but I take out this little titchy witchy guitar, and I just feel like people cannot take me seriously. So it's about time this guitar goes and we grow up and we get something a little bit cooler. Now, we're going to test both of these guitars out on my live looping rig. So my live looping rig is running Ableton Live for all of the audio processing. So both of the guitars are running directly into my Behringer UMC 1820 audio interface. And then this is going straight into Ableton Live. We're going to be running the exact same EQ on the guitars. And we're also going to be running these guitars straight into my Bossassi 505 loop pedal, so we can do a little bit of looping, test out the drumming on both of the guitars, and then compare them against one another. So now let's head on over to my live looping rig and hear both of these guitars in action. Now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Which guitar did you prefer the sound of? And tell me a little bit why. Now, I'm going to tell you which guitar I actually preferred the sound of, and I'll explain why in each situation. So first off, let's just talk about the overall acoustic guitar sound, just the pure acoustic guitar tone out of the two instruments. Now, I preferred the PRS SE Hollowbody 2 Piezo Edition guitar. And the main reason was I felt it sounded a lot lighter compared to the Martin LX1E. Now, the Martin guitar had quite a lot of low end and MIDI and middle presence to the overall tonality of the acoustic. It sounded very bassy and it occupied a lot of the mid frequencies. However, on the PRS SE, I felt like it had a bit more sort of sparkle to the high end and there was less low end rumble to the overall sound of the acoustic, giving it a more controlled and brighter sound, making it sound a lot more like a natural sounding acoustic guitar as opposed to a guitar running through a PA speaker with a piezo element. Now, because the PRS sounds a lot lighter, this provides us a lot more space to loop with. This gives a lot more space within the mix that we can add more layers to our loop without the overall loop sounding really messy. So if we take a listen to the actual drum percussion on the Martin guitar, you'll hear the kick drum has huge presence. It sounds super bassy. It's got a lot of presence to its overall sound, and I really like this. And also, when you're actually in the room, you can hear this kick drum pushing the subwoofers in the PA speakers a lot more, and this sounds fantastic, especially if you want a bit of an arrogant drum kick going. It's perfect for that type of situation. But because the actual acoustic guitar sound is already very bassy and occupies a lot of that muddy MIDI range, then the two together starts to sound very messy when you're layering up your loops. It's quite difficult to control, especially if the acoustics in the room aren't exactly spot on. You know, it starts causing a lot of feedback because there's a lot of low rumble bouncing around the room. Now, if we take a listen to the PRS, because obviously we have a much brighter sounding acoustic guitar, when we then add in the kick drum, surprisingly, the kick drum actually sounds pretty good, even though it's not a real acoustic guitar, which I was pretty surprised about. But although it doesn't sound as bassy and has as much presence as its acoustic counterpart with the Martin LX1E, it still sounds pretty good. But because it has less bass, we don't really notice it because there's more space in the mix. So because the actual acoustic guitar sounds brighter, when we then do our kick drum, they complement each other really well because there's loads of space for this kick drum to occupy, and then the guitar can sparkle around. However, on the other guitar, the Martin LX1E, we've got a lot of bass rumble here with the actual acoustic guitar, then we've got a lot of bass rumble here when we're doing our kick drums, so the two sort of collide and it sounds really messy. So I actually, although the PRS wasn't as bassy when we did our kick drum, it sort of sat better in the mix and had more impact because you could hear it because it was clearer and more audible. Now, the way we could counteract the fact we don't have as bassy of a kick drum, one, we could run two different EQs, either in Ableton or on our pedal board. You know, we could have one EQ pedal set up that's more bassy for doing the kick drum, and then we can have one that's more set up and orientated around doing the acoustic guitars. That's obviously a workaround for both situations on each instrument, but especially for the PRS if you want to add a bit more bass to its kick. Now, when it came to doing the snare drum, I really like the Martin LX1E. I feel like it has a very snappy snare. It's very short and quite aggressive when you strike those strings. I really do like that. I probably actually prefer that as a tonality. Now on the PRS, again, we have a super clear sounding snare. It sounds crisp, sounds beautiful. It sounds a little bit more of a decay to it compared to the Martin Acoustic, but still sounds fantastic. Now from a performance standpoint and almost like a technique as well, I noticed because the PRS has obviously lighter gauge strings because it's an electric guitar, I found myself, I could do more accurate percussion on these strings because obviously the guitar, when I've got my hand here, I can do my sort of snare hits, but because the strings were lighter, I felt like I could take each finger and sort of do lots of roll effects quite quick because the string had very little resistance compared to the thicker strings on the acoustic guitar, which was quite interesting if you wanted to do some interesting fills and stylistic things with the snare drum. The electric guitar strings were really nice for doing that. Now, if you want to do percussion on the actual guitar body, then you're going to want to run a real acoustic guitar. On the acoustic guitar, we can sort of do like, I don't know, conga sort of like pattery things on the actual guitar body. It sounds pretty cool. However, on the PRS, I really struggled to replicate and emulate these types of sounds because the PRS just didn't have as much resonance in its body because it's just not an acoustic guitar, it's still an electric guitar. So I felt like when I was trying to do actual physical percussion on the guitar body, it was a bit of a struggle. Whereas on the acoustic guitar, as you can hear in the demos, we can get quite a cool sort of African drum percussion type thing, whatever you want to call it. So if you want to see some more videos with the PRS SE Piezo guitar, then be sure to like and subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be doing some performance videos coming really soon with this guitar. And also I'm going to have my full review coming out very soon as well. So don't forget to turn that notification bell to on so you get notified when I upload those videos. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I've been Ben Rowlands and I will see you in the next one.